Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Inside Geography with Saad Rahoojo. Today I'm again in front of you with another lecture, another topic. So today we'll discuss about the maps because I have been getting text from the student to have a lecture on the maps. The maps are very important or key part of the part of the geography. If you remember, when we were discussing about the geography, one of the definition was being referred with the cartography. The people know that the geography is all about the map making, or the people who are been working on the maps, so they are being called the geographers. So cartography has always been an integral part of the geography. It is supported and also being helped geography in an evolution and also being progressed as a discipline, academic discipline. So again, I will discuss the maps. So this lecture also being divided into different parts. So today we'll discuss about the introduction of maps. We also see how many types of the maps or classes of the maps. In the next lecture, we'll discuss about the essentials of maps. What are the basics of map in the map making? So as far as the maps are concerned, the world has always been fascinated by the maps. The way the maps are being importing information to the people in the very tabloid way, in a very limited form, and limited time period. So this is always has interest on the part of people. So let's discuss the maps and what could be the definition of the map. So a map is a graphic representation of the cultural and the physical environment of the earth. A graphic representation of my room. So it's been given by the Robinson. So actually map is the representation of the earth as a whole. So what we do, either we transfer the features of earth, the part of earth, or whole of earth on a flat piece of paper. So we call that the map. So it is a graphical description, graphical representation of earth. So the shape of earth is circular, and it's not exact circular, it is an oblate form. So we need to represent earth in a table, in a what is say, in a flat paper of the piece of the paper. So this representation of real world is always an abstraction. The infinite size of our universe make it impossible to capture, represent all of the complexity found in the world. Because the three-dimensional real world is reduced through the scale on a two-dimensional plane of paper. So actually the map is the two-dimensional objects, while our earth the three-dimensional. So it's always been difficult to represent the three-dimensional object on two-dimensional object. So like when you are being giving a part or subpart or the whole earth on the paper, is always being distorting, means it's not been coming in its real form, its real. So what is being said, the representation of real world is always abstraction. What we are being imagining, what we are being looking at the world is an entity. So it's in abstraction. When we look at the world in the map, it's abstraction. So infinite size of our universe make it impossible to capture and represent all the complex found in the world, because the universe is so big and so gigantic, we even don't know how big it is. So it has always been a difficult task when you are being converting or bringing the universe or the earth on the paper or in the map. So and at the same time, the world or the earth, you can say, is not same everywhere. It's at different features, at different formats, and have been different characteristics. So these characteristics are always been, you need to have some sort of accuracy or hard work to mention or show in on the map. So maps are one of the oldest form of non-verbal or graphical communication. If you look at the Shuru say, it has become a non-verbal or graphical communication. So people are being communicated to each other, or the state, or country, they are communicating, they transfer information to the people through non-verbal or graphical way. Because you have a paper, on the paper you have a map, either you are being shown physical characteristic or cultural characters, so any character. So it is a non-verbal communication. So you're not being saying by your own words. So every country uses maps for planning, communication, and general information. So map has been used for the planning, for the communication, and general information for the people. Cartography is the study of the art, science, and technology of map making, and the people who take up this activity are called the cartographers. So cartography is actually the scientific study of map making. We call it the cartography, and the people who are involved in this activity, in this profession, they are called the cartographers. So maps are produced with objective accuracy as a neutral mirror of the real world. So we are being representing real world. This is a real world, so we are showing that real world on the piece of paper with some sort of calculation, some sort of mathematics to bring it with some accuracy. So the field of geography heavily depend on the cartography, relies on order to study the different features of the earth. So as I told you before, that geography has always got the support from the cartography to understand the different features of the earth, to differentiate the different characteristics of the earth. So cartography has a long history of maps based on the needs and objective or chronological period. So cartography has been used with the different time, so it has a different objective. So if you look at the history of cartography or the maps, maps at the beginning in the older times, they were used for the military purpose, to have information about the enemy states, or to defend ourselves, to have a secure borders. So that's why maps were used. So, but the purpose of the cartography or objectives of cartography are being changed with the time, but still it has the same, importance it has before in the ancient times. Early maps have been part of human history for thousands of years and have been taken from date back as early 16,500 BC. So if you look at the history, it is a very old history. So it started from 16,500 BC. However, the oldest recorded maps are preserved on Babylonian clay tablet from about 2300 BC. So this is the oldest, one of the oldest map, which was in the Babylonian era, was the first map which was drawn on the clay. So it is also a very long history. It was not until early 16th century that the first world map began to appear. Gradus Marketer from Belgium was the leading cartographer of the mid 16th century. So he developed a mapping projection based on mathematics, which was more accurate. He published a map of the world in 1569 based on this projection. So this was a map which was being produced by the Belgium, the cartographer, and it was based on the mathematics, on the calculation. So he used some sort of projection. In cartography, when you learn about the geography, you will also be learn about the different projections, because as I told you, our Earth is not accurate. It's not same everywhere. It's not being uniform. So it has a different feature. So that's why the different projections are being used for the different purposes. So this guy in mid 16th century produced this map. It's a world map. So there's another map which was all world map 1570. You can see also this is a world map of different continents of the world. So the main goal of map mapping was to communicate information. Early maps were quite subjective in their presentation of special information. Maps become more objective with the dawn of Western science. So at the early stages, the older maps, they were quite subjective. There were lots of things in the maps, and those information, and that information was the generalized information. So you hadn't any clear cut, I'll say, or accurate information or idea of any phenomena. But as the Western information imported or being developed, so with the Western science, the maps becomes more objective. So afterwards, you need to have a maps for the different objects. So either you are making maps for the climatic change, or for the climate, for the physical features, or you can say for the population, or you can say for the river, or forest. So you will have a different maps for the different purpose or the different characteristics of the lands. Classification of the maps. So cartographer classify maps into two broader categories: reference maps or thematic maps. So the maps are being classified into two categories, and they are being named reference maps or thematic maps. So reference maps normally show natural and human-made objects from the geographical environment with emphasis on location. So example of a reference map include the maps found in atlas and topographic maps. I'll say the reference map, they are more generalized maps. Mostly they contain different features or different informations is a whole, and the same time they emphasize on the location. So reference map में क्या होता है कि either you have a man-made or the physical और नेचुरल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, उसमें दोनों चीजें होती हैं, मगर उसमें ज्यादा फोकस लोकेशन पे दिया जाता है, और ये जनरलाइज मैप होते हैं, कोई स्पेसिफिक टारगेट नहीं होता, उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें दी गई होती हैं, बिकॉज इट कंटेन लॉट्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. सो दे आर बीइंग कॉल्ड द रेफरेंस मैप. सो एग्जांपल ऑफ जनरल रेफरेंस मैप इंक्लूड मैप्स फाउंड इन atlases or topographic maps. So you see the different maps like a political map, topographic maps, or the atlas map. Atlas map is the, I'll say, amalgamation or mix of the different maps. So where you are being showing the lots of information or lots of characteristics. So what is made reference map emphasize on location, emphasis on location, show variety of features because they are being generalized, primarily display objects primarily. So what are the main objects they are being shown on those maps, and they are being non-specialized. So they are being non-specialized. So there's a, I'll say now there are certain mathematics or geometry as being or these being scales are being used, but they are not being accurate because they contain lots of information. So there's a lots of chances to have distortion of those information. Now it comes a thematic map. Thematic maps focus on single theme or attribute, although they can display multiple related themes. Now in thematic maps, we have a different themes, either can be human or the physical or cultural, whatever you call it, but they are more accurate, and mostly they are being single theme. तो उसमें एक theme दिया जाता है, कोई physical दें, कोई climatic दें, कोई population दी, आपने कोई economic दी, मगर वो mostly single thematic होता है. अगर वो multi thematic भी होता है, उसमें जो information होती है वो accurate होती है, उसमें उसका जो background होता है वो बहुत strong होता है. So thematic maps display pattern and themes. This is useful for comparison between two or more maps. So if you are being comparing two or more maps, thematic maps always been helping you. अगर कोई भी एक कैरेक्टर ले लें, मीन्स आपने कोई पॉपुलेशन एक कैरेक्टर ले लिया, अब पॉपुलेशन को आप डिफरेंट वे में डिफाइन करते हैं, पॉवर्टी ले रहे हैं, एजुकेशन ले रहे हैं, economic well-being ले रहे हैं, तो you can easily compare those characters of population in thematic maps. So thematic maps emphasize on attributes, show one subject, and primarily display one themes. We start from the reference map. So is a physical map. So a physical map is one of the document landscape feature of the place. These maps generally show things like mountains, rivers, lakes, bodies of water are commonly shown in the blue. So in physical maps, the physical characteristics of Earth are being shown, where you show the different characteristics of the Earth. So mountains and elevation changes are sometimes shown with the different colors and shapes to show the elevation. So once you have a different characteristics of the Earth, you show those characters with the help of colors, with the help of shades. So those colors and shape represent the different characters of the Earth. So on physical maps, green usually indicate lower elevation, while brown usually indicates a higher elevation. You can set any criteria, but the general criteria is that when there's a green shape show the low elevation, यानी वो जो नीचे वाले हिस्से होते हैं, or when they were elevation and height, they have been shown by the brown color. So this is the physical map of India. You can easily see this is the vegetation. I'll say these brown areas, brown color, they are showing the area having an altitude. So and this there's more altitude here. So these physical features are being shown with the help of colors or the shades. So topographic maps. A topographic map is similar to the physical maps. It has been shown different physical landscapes of the Earth. Unlike physical map, in these maps, contour lines are used instead of color to show the changes in the landscape. So what happens here? Topographic maps and physical map, they are parallelly used. They are almost same. Because in these topographic or physical map, you are being discussing or being showing the physical features of the Earth. But यहाँ पे फर्क क्या है? What is the difference? That you are using the contours lines, contour line to show the elevation, to give the slope or elevation or height of the places. So these are the contours line having same what you say data, means having a same height or same character, so they are being connected to each other. So contour lines on topographic maps are normally spaced in a regular interval to show elevation changes. So once the elevation is being changed, you have a different lines with the space. Political maps are among the most widely used reference maps. So these are mounted on the walls of classrooms throughout the world. They show the geographic boundaries between government units such as countries, states, and the county. So in a political maps, mostly we are being giving the political boundaries, whether the international boundaries, internal boundaries, state boundary, town boundaries. So whatever. Sometime in a political maps, the roads or transport links are being shown here. So they show roads, cities, and major water features such as ocean, rivers, and the lakes. So political maps help people understand the geography of the world. So this is the political map of America. So you can see here. So these are the different boundaries or different states of America, the US, United States of America. So they have a different boundaries. So this is called the political maps. Now comes the climatic maps. A climatic map shows information about the climate of a particular area. It's all about the climate of that given area. So these maps show specific climatic zones of given area based on temperature, pressure, humidity, and the amount of snow, daily, monthly, yearly rainfall, or average number of cloudy days. So in a climate map, you show the climatic characteristic or climatic components of that given area. What are the climatic components? Like you have a rainfall, you have a humidity, you have a winds, you have a pressure, you have a clouds, you have a cyclones, you have a evaporation also, clouds also. So you show these characteristic of the climate with the help of the colors. So you see, and sometimes you also been giving the numbers here. So these numbers show with the help of color the differentiate of the climate or the generalize of the climate. So these maps normally use color to show the different climatic areas and climatic condition of the world. Now comes the road map. So a road map is one of the most widely used maps. These maps show major and minor highways and roads depend on the degree of detail, as well as the things like airports, cities, and points of interest such as parks, campgrounds, and the monuments. So in a road map, mostly the transport networks, whether railway, road, or water, they are being shown for the better information of the people. So they have an idea when they are being going to traveling. So these are the the lines which are being showing the transport network of different aspects. So the major highways on the road map are generally shown with the thick red lines, while minor roads are lighter in color and drawn with the narrow lines. So it depends. So if you have a broader road network, you show with the thick pen, with a thick line, and you have a minor, you will show with the lighter color and lighter line. So This is the map of Sindh province. It's been showing the transported connected areas or network of the. So now comes the economic or the resource map. So economic or resource map show the specific type of economic activity or natural resources present in an area through the use of different symbols or color depending on what is being depicted. So in here, in an economic resource map, you are showing any economic activity or any source or economic, I would say, progress of development, or you can say of that in any country, state, town, or even the world with the help of colors or the shapes, so or the symbols. So either you are being comparing any economic activity, general economic well-being, or you can say any source in terms of, so you are being showing with the help of these shades. So these legends having a color, so they are showing the different characters and different data, so you can easily compare or understand either the whole world or that particular area which is being addressing through this map, the way they are being progressing. You can also see this is the map of Pakistan where has been shown agricultural land use. So this is agricultural land use of Pakistan. So that land area has been shown with the help of shades, different colors, you can say. So different color are being showing different data. And the same thing, this is the red, a green color showing the forest, and small trees or open shrubs are here. This is the wheat area of Pakistan. So you can easily understand from these maps about the resources or land use of that particular area or the economic progress or well-being. Now comes the thematic map. So a thematic map is a map that focuses on particular theme or special topic. As I told you before, this is being, what do you say, addressing a particular or specialized object. We are more focused on that object, and there more information, or there more accuracy. So these maps are different from the 6 aforementioned general reference maps, because they don't just show features like rivers, cities, political subdivisions, elevation, or highways. Because thematic maps, they are quite different. So what we discussed before, these reference maps, the thematic maps are different from those. Now these thematic maps also being attributing or has been showing us depending these all characteristics like elevation, highways, political maps or political character, or cities or the rivers or any physical aspect, but there's more accuracy. There are more calculation. So if these items appear on the thematic maps, they are background information and are used as a reference point to enhance the map's theme. So once, if you are coming, look at, so we have a Alaska poverty and education measured by public health region. So this is all about the poverty of different populations. So you are seeing the different shades here in thematic maps. So percentage of population below poverty level, percentage of population less than high school education. So you see the different things are being represented here. And so once that map in front of you, you can easily compare the different characteristic of even one aspect of one object of that given area. So it was all about the introduction of the map. So if you have any question, you can ask me that question in down in the what to say, in the comment section. If you like my videos, please subscribe and share with your friends. Till then, take care of yourself. So wait for the another video.